Welcome to The Print. I'm Sourav Barman. Over the past few days, many of you must have come across news reports about residents of a housing complex in Gujarat's Vadodara opposing the allocation of a flat to a Muslim family, more specifically to a Muslim woman. They have also petitioned the local authorities there asking that the allocation be cancelled. Many civil society voices have also spoken out against the discriminatory attitude of those people. Among those voices is Mumtaz Patel, who is joining us today for this interview. Uh, she is a Congress leader and she is also the daughter of late Congress stalwart Ahmed Patel. Thank you for joining us. Housing segregation in India is a harsh reality, and it exists across cities. It is in Bombay, it is in Delhi, it is in Gujarat. Uh, what really struck me in this case is how it seems it's not a hidden reality anymore. Now people are openly talking about it. People are openly bringing out their prejudice.
So when I heard you introducing the issue, you failed to mention that this is a government employee, and this flat was allocated by the Gujarat government to her. Now the residents are protesting against the Gujarat government. You're aware of the situation in Gujarat. You did mention right now that we've seen this happening across the country in Delhi, Mumbai. Gujarat is infamous for the Disturbed Areas Act. In fact, in the last 10 years, from 2013 to 2019, the disturbed area has increased by about 51% in Ahmedabad. There is segregation, definitely. I have spoken about this because this issue is something which I've personally faced. And a few months ago, in a very casual, candid interview, when I was asked about, कि आपको क्या लगता है मुसलमानों की हालत देश में क्या है, स्थिति क्या है? And I said, बहुत मुश्किल है. And I said this in context to the fact that coming from a political family, you just said, stalwart of the Congress party, Mr. Ahmed Patel, we've had, I'll start with myself. When I was getting married, we used to live obviously with my father in Lutyens. And, when I was getting married and my fiancé was looking for a home, because he would go to shift to Delhi after we got married. It was very difficult for him to find a house to buy. And everywhere he went, he got rejected because he was a Muslim. And this I'm talking about like 25 years ago nearly. And today, when we are looking for a home to rent, we need to move out of this particular house that we're doing the interview. And for the last 1 year, wherever we go, in very hushed tones, the brokers, the minute they find out that we are Muslims, they say that it'll be very difficult. We can only find you homes in particular areas. And before this, my mother, after my father passed away, we were looking for a home for her to shift into, and she could not get two reasons. I can't say just Muslim, but the fact that we come from a political family, but the Muslim part was a hushed bit. Right. So this is a very sad reality, and if it can happen to people like us, when I say coming from powerful political families, living in cities, finding homes in areas where you have educated cream of the society living, and if they have a mindset like that, you can imagine what a normal Muslim must be facing. I understand reservations of each community. There are issues like vegetarianism. In a place like Gujarat, most of the Hindu fellow brothers and sisters are vegetarians, so they probably would not like people, in the society. So I understand all that. However, to blatantly come out now in the open like this, I don't know, somewhere I feel, and I always say that it is more the educated that are resisting this than the poor and the downtrodden, because the poor and the downtrodden have more to worry about, like how to run a home, their expenses, their their jobs, their day-to-day earnings and living. So they probably cannot get caught up in this. But it is the middle class, upper middle class, the educated who are now concentrating on this religious, racial, caste, whatever divide you say. So it is not just about Hindus and Muslims, I feel. It is just too much discrimination and too much emotions that is being attached to too much emotions being attached to create a very divisive society.
You mentioned Disturbed Areas Act.
Right.
For our viewers, it is essentially a law in Gujarat which empowers the district magistrates to approve property transactions in areas where Disturbed Areas Act is enforced.
So yeah, before the sale or sale of any property, approval has to be taken, permission has to be granted by the district collector. It cannot bypass them. So everything has to be done vis-a-vis the collector. And
so you feel the law has been weaponized in a way over the years? Because the law was brought by the Congress government in 1991.
Agreed, because you know, we have seen in the past disturbances due to religious issues only, and but then over a period of time, I think the tolerance level has decreased even further, you know, and this has 100% today, I would say, fueled by propaganda. You know, this vote bank politics has worsened it. It has created a worse divide amongst people. There has been India that has lived like very, very collectively together also. But I think this hatred, this divisiveness, this division has been fueled further by propaganda that has happened purely due to vote bank politics. And I guess today, if very happy to see that the Gujarat government did give a job to a Muslim woman and has also allocated a flat, but I think it's come to bite them back because of the propaganda that they created, that the residents are now intolerant of it and are attacking the government back for this act.
You have grown up in Gujarat, you have close ties with Vadodara.
Yeah.
And so do you feel over the years Gujarati society or Gujarati people, the polarization has, you know, become deeper?
Yes, see, I haven't really seen it too much in the villages as we were growing up, or maybe we didn't really pay attention, but everything was very hunky-dory back in the days. I mean, festivals, we celebrated together. We had, I mean, we've also grown up in villages which are minority dominant. So yes, there have been obviously villages which are dominant by minorities, or there are villages which are completely a majority dominant thing. That was normal, but that wasn't because there was a divide that, you know, Hindus couldn't stay in a Muslim village or Muslims couldn't stay. That wasn't that. It was just probably people settled in a particular area, and then it became, you know, synonymous with that. But yes, over a period of time, I have noticed that society has become very intolerant and more in the cities, which is why I come back to it, that I see people who are educated more divisive than people who are living in villages or who are not educated.
Why do you think that is the case?
I guess because when you have a comfortable life, then you have more time to think of this nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm putting it in a very simplistic way. You know, an aam admi who's living, you know, in a village where he has to think of daily wages and how to survive will not probably have time to, you know, bring emotion in the picture because it's survival. But when you have people living in the cities, living a cushioned life, you know, they're okay with this because, and it is every day that you see around today with the onset of WhatsApp and social media, the propaganda that is fueled does poison minds, you know, and it is very unfortunate. However, the younger educated lot that is coming up now are saying no to this kind of hate politics, and you've seen the result of it now in these elections. You can say that, you know, these issues did not really, whatever the M factors from Muslim to Masjid to Mandir to Mangal Sutra, you know, to Mujra to anything, it was rejected by mostly the youngsters. So happy to see that maybe the mindsets of people might change.
Of course, we'll come to politics.
Yeah.
So before that, you, in your tweet, in your post on Twitter or X, you also wrote about how you were prevented from campaigning in Vadodara. So did the Congress party ask you not to go there?
So this was also in very hushed tones. Vadodara is next to Bharuch. So I have a lot of family that stays there. So I have grown up and around Vadodara, and I still refer to it as Baroda. And it's a very cosmopolitan city. It's got a lot of young crowd. It was supposed to be one of the 100 smart cities that was to be built. And I was due to campaign there, but till the last moment, I wasn't getting the dates and the programs. And a couple of programs that I got were related to particularly Muslim areas. But I was told in very hushed tones that certain programs I couldn't have gone for because I was a Muslim and it would polarize. And that really shocked me because I never thought of myself as, a Hindu leader, Muslim leader, whatever. I mean, I'm an Indian.
So the local level Congress leaders told you?
No, it's not. I'm nobody in particular, but I was indirectly told that, just avoid because it'll.
But could you campaign at all in Vadodara?
No, I could not. So, yes, and also coming back to it, like I said, I have family there and they're around. When you hear people talking, it's a very divisive society. There is intolerance to quite an extent. And despite the fact that we grew up, we love the city, but never thought that, you would be identified as a Muslim and be asked to stay away. That was very unfortunate, very heartbreaking for me.
So do you think the political marginalization of the Muslim community and what is happening in Vadodara right now is also a reflection of that, the marginalization of the Muslim community? Because your father, if I'm not mistaken, was the last Muslim MP to be elected in the Lok Sabha from Gujarat.
Yes.
Back then in 1989.
So there was Mr. Ehsan Jafri, and you know the history, what happened to him in 2002, which was very unfortunate. And my father. So my father, in fact, was the last Muslim MP Lok Sabha and then Rajya Sabha from Gujarat, and that is it. After that, in fact, these elections, there was no Muslim representation from any party, whether it was the BJP or the Congress from Gujarat at all, considering we have over 10% Muslim population in Gujarat. And at this point of time also, when you talk about Muslim representation, happy to see that we have about 24 members of parliament. We have a Yusuf Pathan who became an MP, but he became an MP from West Bengal, not from Gujarat. But there's none from the ruling party at this point of time.
Can a Yusuf Pathan maybe, do you see Yusuf Pathan winning from a Gujarat seat? Is it possible?
This question, even when I was, working in Bharuch, I was told that, and at a lot of, at different points, they said that, because my seat went to Aam Aadmi Party, that Ahmed Patel also hasn't won since 1989. Right. And there was a reason to it, because a district like Bharuch was the first lab of Hindutva politics. And my father, if I may say so, was the first victim as a member of parliament to this, divisive politics, where when he was contesting the election, literally, during campaign, the other party would go with photographs of, Allah written on one paper and a picture of Ram on another, and, go home to home asking people, that who are you going to vote for? And my father won during emergency with a big margin. But come 1989, by the time this whole divide started and came out much more in the open, the only reason he wasn't winning was because he was a Muslim. And that is exactly what I was told, that despite having a 25% Muslim representation and, population in a district like Bharuch, it'll be very difficult for even me to win just because I'm a Muslim.
You mentioned how no party even fielded a Muslim candidate in Gujarat this time. But I was just looking at national figures from other states, Even nationally, Congress fielded 34 Muslim candidates last time. This time it fielded 19. BJP, of course, fielded only 1.
Yeah.
And Trinamool Congress, for example, fielded 13 Muslim candidates last time. This time 6. Samajwadi Party, last time they had fielded 8. This time 4. So what does this show?
Okay, so my whatever little experience that I have, and I might be wrong in this, but I'm just giving out my personal opinion, that since I campaigned extensively in Gujarat in 2022 during Vidhan Sabha, as well as in Lok Sabha right now, 2024, we noticed that the Muslims are very disheartened and feel marginalized, and also it's a very divided lot, and they don't come out to vote.
Right.
So when they don't come out to vote, this is what we try to explain to them, that if you want representation, you have to come out and vote. So it is a very difficult task to get the Muslims to come out and vote, because they feel that whether we vote or not, our voices are not going to be heard. So that attitude is there, especially amongst women. And since they don't come out to vote, I guess political parties feel that, that representation is not needed because they will not win. And then you look at the winnability factor. So somewhere that has to change. You have to educate them to, come out, vote en masse. And there's a lot of controversy in between when somebody spoke about vote jihad and all. And it was nothing to do with, attacking another community or whatever. It just meant that, if you are struggling, you strive and struggle. Jihad means to strive and struggle. So to vote also is your right. And if you want representation, if you want a voice, then come out and vote, and come out and vote for people who will be your voice. So that is something that is lacking, and I hope it changes in the future. I would say that to the Muslim community. I have never, neither did my father. Today, even we don't see ourselves as, solely representing only one community, because everybody, we're all Indians at the end of the day. But, each marginalized community, whether it's the Dalits, whether it's, the OBCs, whether it's the Muslims, they all need to be a stronger voice. That is when I guess they will also get representation. It goes both ways.
So, no, your father was, how do I put it? He would not give interviews. He would rarely speak to the media. He was a reticent man.
Right.
But in private, did you discuss these things with your father? The increasing marginalization of the Muslim community, especially in politics, did it disturb him?
Yes, it did disturb him, because for a person like him, today also, if you go back to Bharuch, you'll see his imprint everywhere. Yet, but he was representing them from the Rajya Sabha, and yet he could not win an election after he didn't contest. The last election he contested was 1991. But the reason he did not contest only was this, that despite whatever he did, as much as people loved him today, even the majority Hindu community remembers his contribution. Even the BJP leaders, recognize the work that he did. But when it came to electoral politics, the only reason probably he would not win is because he was a Muslim, despite the work. And that is ultimate reality. And he understood this. We used to discuss this.
Right. He has a long legacy in Bharuch. Your family has a long legacy in Bharuch. So, for obvious reasons, you wanted the Congress to field its own candidate from the Bharuch seat this time, and you made it public. Both you and your brother spoke about it publicly. But that didn't happen. Eventually, the seat went to the Aam Aadmi Party. So, did you also did you also convey your displeasure to the Gandhis, to the Gandhi family?
Yes, of course. We did discuss it with them, but unfortunately, they also understood. They were obviously not that happy today. I mean, it's unfortunate that we had to vote for an alliance partner, and even the Gandhi family had to vote for an alliance partner in New Delhi. But this is politics of compulsion, and sometimes you have to go along with the need of the hour.
So, going ahead, will you be cultivating? Do you plan to cultivate your political career there in Bharuch?
Bharuch is home. So irrespective of politics, Bharuch stays close to our heart. It's home, like I said, our family, home, everything, our foundations. So we continue to work in Bharuch either ways, politics or not. And that is something I've made it very clear from the beginning. We're into health and education. My father left behind certain foundations. And people of Bharuch are like family to us. Like I said, despite the fact that my father was not contesting, electorally, he always worked for the betterment of Bharuch, for the people of Bharuch. And we might not have the same kind of power and position today, but in whatever capacity me and my brother, we will continue to work in Bharuch.
Tell me, as a Congress leader, why has the Congress fallen so behind the BJP in Gujarat? And it's been years, with the exception of 2017 assembly polls where the party did well.
You know, when we are on the ground, we notice that people want a change. Unfortunately, people again get caught up in emotions of religious and caste-based politics. That is the only reason that I see year after year after year, because they feel probably that the BJP will represent the majority community better. And somewhere this narrative has been spread, unfortunately, that Congress is a Muslim party, you know, which right now your data will clearly show that it's not the case. You know, Congress represents all. In fact, there's no specific. In fact, you look at the propaganda that the Prime Minister also spread, that Congress manifesto talks about Muslim representation, which was not the case. The word Muslim is not even mentioned once in the manifesto. So this kind of propaganda, probably the whole Hindu khatre mein hai, you know, that propaganda has hit home. And again, like I said, people who still have a cushioned life, I think, get swayed more by emotions. But the real people on the ground who are struggling with their day-to-day living, they've opened up now. And it is them who have now come out in states like UP, you know, in Maharashtra, you know, down south, of course, people are much more, you know, clear-headed. So you can see the change on the ground. You can see the shift on the ground.
So, but you know, I was just looking at Bharuch Lok Sabha elections data this time. So last time compared to last time, the vote share of the Aam Aadmi Party candidate really went up. Last time Congress fielded a candidate who got some 23% votes, 26%. This time the Aam Aadmi Party candidate polled some 43% votes.
So that is it. These are all the Congress voters who came out very strongly. Last time's candidate was not a strong candidate. So, so that is why it didn't really work. Like I said, the Muslims didn't come out to vote. This time, the shift on the ground, that everyone got together to say, okay, this is now or never, do or die. This is the only time we can get the BJP out. So the tribals came out en masse. The Muslims also came out that, you know, this was the chance to vote out BJP, which is why, and he was a strong candidate. So the margin did increase. So we're hoping that the next time, and with a Congress candidate, we see a better result.
So my last question would be, you know, so do you think this coalition between...
Another thing I think I want to say, my observation, personal, that over the years, because there is that sense of defeat that, oh, we're going to lose only, you know, seats in Gujarat. I think the right candidates are not chosen, and sometimes tickets are given just like that to very weak candidates, because it's like, you know, ladne ki khatar ladna hai. But this time you saw what happened in Banaskantha, you know, Jenny Ben won. This was like a, not a miracle also. That was her hard work. That was, you know, who she is. She represented people as an MLA also, and people understood that she's the right candidate. So if you field good, strong candidates, it is possible to win. It is possible to win. So somewhere, I think, over the years, that lack of enthusiasm of not winning probably has allowed just, you know, weak candidates to be fielded. That also has resulted in loss.
So you're saying essentially the Congress Gujarat unit suffers from a sense of defeatism?
It did, because I think it's very natural. It's very natural. This time also, I mean, a lot of places, so many places, nobody wanted to contest. You know, there were so many seats, nobody wanted to contest. So you then end up just giving it to a candidate who wants to contest for the sake of it. And that is not a warrior attitude.
Right. So Congress should be more bold, you're saying, going.
Yeah, and this time, because you've seen a change on the ground, I guess things will get better in the future.
So my last question, of course, there has been some revival of the Congress party this time, but not so much in Gujarat. So how that should happen?
No, Gujarat, this one seat is, I think, bigger than any other seat across the country, because this is the start of defeat, and this is a start. And also, you see the margins, the vote share of Congress has gotten better in the other seats also. So this is the beginning, I guess, now.
But the Aam Aadmi Party has made some inroads. We saw they got some 13-14% votes in the last assembly election.
Right.
So should the alliance between the two parties remain, or was it a one-time
thing? I think Gujarat is essentially BJP Congress. Wherever we've let a third party grow in any state, it has been at the cost of the Congress party. We've seen it in state after state. And I guess look at Bihar, look at Uttar Pradesh, look at Tamil Nadu. So I guess that I don't think that a third party should be allowed to flourish in a state like Gujarat, because essentially it is Congress versus BJP.
Well, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
ThePrint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.